The big mistake is thinking it will never happen to you, that you will be able to handle it, until one day you collapse. It's worse when you don't see it coming, and no one is immune. But the best part is, burnout is not the end. We are making a comeback. We are going to fill that void. We just have to adjust some internal settings. There is something high performers do that makes them rise stronger than others when they are struggling with burnout. They all run the same exact process, and I am going to share it. And I know this works. I am an expat MBA leading teams in ambiguous scenarios for more than a decade. So I've been through it, and I've helped people overcome it many times. Burnout is a state of emotional, mental, and physical exhaustion caused by prolonged stress and overwork, especially when your effort feels, and that word is very important, feels meaningless or unrecognized. Even the small task becomes overwhelming. Now, before we go deeper into how to rise from burnout, there are some inevitable behaviors you need to understand. Identifying these early on will help you level up faster. This is what no HR playbook will show you, because what I am about to tell you is uncomfortable. During burnout, people only go one of two ways. They either hide it or become a suffering victim. It's really that simple, either one or the other, or sometimes a mix of both. The thing is, both will drain you. They are both bad. People who hide it wear a fake smile, while inside they are falling apart. They are making the problem bigger inside because they don't want to be seen as fragile. They keep telling themselves and others that they are fine. And those who become victims can't stop bringing back the pain. They keep talking about it, complaining, and expecting sympathy or solutions from others. They are trapped in a mindset that only makes them weaker. So the first thing you have to ask yourself is, where am I standing? Am I in denial? Or do I feel helpless? Now, this next one traps people without them even realizing it. People with burnout fantasize. They daydream about vengeance, quitting, or disappearing. Over and over again, it's like these negative thoughts just won't go away. It comes from a feeling of powerlessness. Then, people with burnout go through a stage that in poker and chess it's called being tilted. Being tilted is a state of emotional frustration or agitation that disrupts your ability to think clearly or perform well. It's triggered by things like repeated failure, unfair treatment, or high pressure. Once tilted, people often act impulsive, trying to regain control, but usually making things worse. When you are tilted, you either lose it and get upset when you have a new task or when someone asks you anything, or you just feel like you can't continue anymore, like even the smallest thing is too much. You feel defeated. In other words, you are right on the edge. Anything can trigger you to explode or implode. Burnout is no joke. Some people feel constantly fatigued, call in sick, or their appetite gets affected. They either start eating a lot of unhealthy food or simply lose their appetite. With all these signs combined, it's very hard to stay focused and motivated. It's not easy because you can even start hating what you once loved or enjoyed. And that's the real problem right here. Your emotions are dragging you down a rabbit hole of negativity. Now, I am not saying it's all your fault. The environment, your work, and your relationships play a big role, but it is also in your mind and your emotions. Now that this part is clear, let's start to fix it. And here is the truth. Getting out of burnout is doable. For that, it's really important to understand the behaviors I just explained, because those are the ones keeping you trapped in negativity, and we are going to tackle them one by one. Like I said in the beginning, high performers follow the same pattern. This is the first thing you have to do to overcome burnout. If you skip it, the rest won't work. Stop lying to yourself. Stop pretending you are fine, or stop playing the victim. It hurts, it's not easy, but you have to accept that you can't keep going like this. Something has to change. Accept that you don't like how you feel. This is the moment when you stop finding excuses or stories to justify what is happening to you. And I get it. Life sucks sometimes. There are a million reasons why your life feels like it's in hard mode. You won't change that, but you can train your brain to control your thoughts. You get to choose. No more excuses. What could you be doing better regardless of the environment? Some time ago, an ex-colleague asked me to share what he called my secret formula to get out of a rabbit hole. I was in deep. I had to go through an unpleasant series of painful challenges. I fell into a hole to the point I couldn't take it anymore. And he saw, step by step, how I took control back of my life and came back stronger to confront those challenges. So he asked me, how did you do it? How did you recover after those horrible experiences all at once? I am going through a rough moment right now and I hate it. I want to rise like you did. I shared with him exactly what I did, step by step. But he just kept telling me that his case was different. He dropped excuse after excuse, and I could see in his eyes he wasn't ready to accept it. He didn't want to let go, and I get it. I've been there. But until he accepts that there is something wrong with him, and it's not only the environment, that he has to do things differently, he won't get out of there, or it will take him way longer to recover. I know because I didn't get out until I made this decision. So make the decision. Even if it hurts, fix those issues today or they will resurface. Maybe soon, maybe years later when you've already forgotten about them. Now, the following point sounds meaningless, but in reality helps so much. The next step to recover from burnout is finding something to fight for. What's that one thing that gives you energy? Sports, painting, cooking, a side project, reading in beautiful places. What is it? People with burnout tend to isolate and stop doing the things they love. Don't. And it's tricky because when you're struggling, most of the time, you just want to do nothing. So get up. I remember when I was going through really tough times, I forced myself to start training combat sports again after many years. It was so weird. I had this void in my stomach almost every day, but still I decided no matter what, even if it was raining, even if I had the worst day ever, I kept going to train martial arts consistently. And that consistency, that keep showing up mentality, gave me the tools to rise stronger. It gave me hope. In your case, whatever it is, make it a ritual. Keep it sacred. Dedicate some time each week to do what you love, even if it feels uncomfortable. Keep showing up. We will come back to this later. The next step slowly brings you back from burnout. Lower the bar. And for this, you have to be strategic. Pull back from things that aren't critical. Some meetings or stretch goals may not be for you right now. They can wait. Don't push it. Now, I am not saying you should completely disappear, but you could raise your hand less. You'll be a bit invisible. Maybe you won't turn on your camera, but that's only until you start to get stronger. Little by little, start trying to be more visible because this shouldn't be about hiding forever. It's only while you rebuild yourself. Sometimes you do have to disconnect 100% and take some time off, but always with the mindset to come back. This is never the end of the world. Your life still has a future. When you are burnout, anything can trigger you to be upset, mad, or feel defeated. To neutralize this, you have to outsmart yourself because there is one thing that will be inevitable. Whenever your boss, a colleague, or your neighbor comes to you with more work or a small request, or if something makes your day more complicated, you will lose it immediately. You have no choice. It will happen. Or you could start overthinking with negativity for no reason. Now, that first reaction is inevitable. And this is where things get interesting. Everything after that instant, after that first negative emotion, everything after that is optional. So your mind and emotions will push you to get carried away by anger or frustration. That's normal, but you can slow down. Stop and breathe in and then out a couple of times. You won't control your initial emotion, and maybe it will linger inside you, in your belly, your chest, your throat, or legs. But the spiral of negative thoughts that follows, that's on you. And you can train your mind to stop it. Have no doubts about it. Getting carried away by negativity is addictive. Don't let it beat you. Control it. It probably won't work at first, but keep trying over and over again. Breathe slowly and try to control your thoughts on other things you like. That's why you should never stop doing what you love, as mentioned before, because it will help you to have something to focus on. You need that distraction. And the reason we had to go one by one and why we spend so much time on how people behave during burnout is because your emotions are not optional. Your choices after feeling them are. This can only happen if you want it to. Every single negative behavior can be adjusted with your mind, and it's very important that you don't block your emotions and that you don't become a victim. You have to accept that you have a problem so you can start taking actions to feel better step by step. Make the decision. Up to you.